Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
In Louisiana, a former wealthy Baton Rouge car dealer is found guilty of hiring 3 hitmen who carried out the murder of his wife. In Ohio, a 19-year-old female is convicted of the murder of her boyfriend and another by intentionally crashing her car into a brick wall, and a driver in Alabama dies after being beaten by bar patrons following an accidental striking of a pedestrian. These stories and more coming at you today on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Bayou Brandy.
What up, Bayou
Brandy?
Bayou Brandy. We've been waiting on this one, right?
That's not Ago.
No, it's not Ago. So we had a board meeting, y'all, and Ago's been acting out really severely.
Yeah.
And we had put him on double secret probation. So he's suspended for 2 shows.
Yes,
but Brandy, we thank you very much for filling in for him. You drove in from Slidell, right? And hey,
the wonderful world of Slidell.
So that real quick before we get started, y'all,
home of old town.
I got hooked up with Bayou B Brandy, Bayou _
I just
Brandy,
call her BB.
Yeah,
for sure,
because of TikTok, right?
Yep.
And so she gave me a shout out as Real Life Real Crime being her #1 favorite true crime podcast, and then we got hooked up through that and started talking. She's helped me a lot with the Real Life Real Crime TikTok, but she has a huge following, right? Mm-hmm. And we're learning a lot from her. And I think, we'll reverse the situation a little bit today, but what I want all lifers to do is go to TikTok, look up Bayou _ Brandy, and go give her a follow. And we're going to do a test, right? I'm going to see how many do it. And while you're there, look up Real Life Real Crime, give us a follow too, because I know you're not there, right?
Yeah, your podcast is so successful, and your hashtag Woody Overton has like 6.5 million views, but your following is not indicative of how successful your podcast is. It intrigues me.
Before you, I had just messed with TikTok a little bit, when we went viral and all that. And I've gained like another 4,000 since I started listening to your tips and actually started posting more videos because I never touched TikTok before that happened. But anyway, looking forward to collaborating. Let's do it. Oh, you know what? Let me tell you real quick. So Brandy and I have similar life paths. She's a veteran, right?
Yep, Army
veteran.
Same MOS.
As was I. We were the same MOS, and for y'all that don't know, MOS is basically your job in the military. I was a nuclear biological chemical warfare specialist. Brandy's a lot younger than me. When she got in, they figured nobody's going to drop the bomb anymore, so they took nuclear and the biological out, and you were a chemical warfare specialist.
Well, it's actually now CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear.
Really?
Whoa.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Sounds way fancier
that
than it is.
means she's smart, y'all.
Then check this out. 911 dispatcher.
I was.
Right? And which is a whole different monster.
Yes.
And then 101 and has some masters in social work.
Yep.
Right? And then now you have that, but you're an influencer. And
I still work full time. My career is still definitely the most important thing to me. But the TikTok thing has just kind of taken off in the last year. And
married to a real cool big dude. You don't want to mess with this dude. Jim Chapman. His name's Pierre.
Pierre. I like it.
Yep. Born in Montreal. Half French Canadian, half Dominican. He is definitely my dude. That is my proudest title that I wear.
I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality to say he's a big, good looking dude. I ain't messing with Pierre.
Yeah. No messing with Pierre. Shout out, Pierre.
So let's get down to some true crime time for Friday.
Friday. That's right. I almost said Thursday.
Oh, that's Friday.
All these days running together.
Let's do it.
Yes. And I'm going to start off with a story, y'all. And, a lot of times when we talk about crime, automatically you know how you feel about it, right? It's a crime. You're a law-abiding person, so it's all bad. This one, I read it, and I'm not sure quite how I feel about it. So let me tell y'all what's going on, and all you listeners out there in listener land. Tiffany Woods, now 43, was sentenced to life after a baby's death following Hurricane Katrina. Of course, we all know Hurricane Katrina, devastating hurricane.
One of the only things I have PTSD about.
Yeah, horrible. A woman who is serving that life sentence is serving it after feeding cow's milk to an infant son who died malnourished in Shreveport, where the family had evacuated from New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. The unanimous vote of the Louisiana Board of Pardons following an emotional hearing. The unanimous vote of the Louisiana Board of Pardons followed an emotional hearing in which Tiffany Woods, now 43, pleaded for her release after 17 years, while a Caddo Parish prosecutor vehemently opposed it. The prosecutor, Susan Ellis, argued that until Monday, Woods had never accepted responsibility for her baby's starvation and death in late 2005. Now, the board's decision leaves it to Governor John Bel Edwards to decide whether to commute Woods' sentence. The governor can only grant clemency to a recommendation from the board whose members he appoints. Woody, you and I talked about that actually on Bloody Angola just yesterday. And the prosecutors are saying it's a huge mistake. Now, let me give you the history on this. Backed by her 4 children, Woods sat in a blue shirt inside the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women, LCIW. As board member Curtis Pete Freeman questioned her over a video link about the period around the baby's death. Emmanuel, the baby, was born early at just over 3 pounds and spent more than a month in intensive care at Tulane. He went home at 5 pounds about 3 weeks before the hurricane hit. The family escaped to Shreveport, landing first at a sports arena, then a hotel, and then last at a rented house in a Hollywood Heights development. Woods acknowledged a huge mistake in switching the infant's formula to cow milk, which pediatricians advise against for kids under a year old. At that stage of my life, I was a young mother who was trying to take care of children the best she could, and I made some terrible decisions, but the woman who sits before you today is not the same person. Woods was 25 when Emmanuel died. She grew up in New Orleans East and gave birth to her first child just shy of graduation. On Monday, Woods was flanked by 3 of her children, while a 4th appeared by video from Alaska, where he's in the Air Force. Woods pleaded to be a physical presence in the lives outside of prison of her children, and to the board, she described the traumatic period of displacement in 2005. She's basically saying she was stressed out, depressed, and lonely. The formula the child was taking, he wasn't swallowing. He was throwing it up. And then we ran out of WIC food vouchers, so I decided to switch it. I switched it to organic milk. I thought he was doing better, but he wasn't thriving. The boy died in his crib on November 27th of 2005, and 10 months later, the Caddo District Attorney's Office secured an indictment for murder.
I don't understand
what do you think about that?
I don't understand that. Maybe there's a little more to it or something, because she's trying to feed the baby and trying to take care of it.
So I didn't live here during Katrina.
Yeah.
Would November have still been a supply chain issue?
Well, by then, New Orleans was still closed. So they shipped everybody out to all different states and up north. So that's the transition period they're talking about, from the stadium to the hotel to the thing. But no, it wouldn't have been, because it wasn't really affected up there, right? And so, but I don't understand.
It seems a little harsh.
How you get life without for. I mean, I understand the infant died and it's horrible, but
it wasn't, my struggle with this was it wasn't a situation where she just quit feeding the baby. She switched the formula. The baby was projectile vomiting, I guess. Had some sort of, just did not take to whatever formula she was using. And that happens. Yeah. All 3 of my kids, we had to use the sensitive formula that you give them, because they would literally throw up the regular formula for whatever reason.
It seems like it lacked intent.
Right. See, negligent homicide, in my opinion, would have been more appropriate, being that the law states if you human being shows such lack of care that a normal, reasonable person would have shown, then you can be convicted for, right? I mean, if your kid keeps throwing up, you need to take them to the doctor. But
and she's got 4 other kids who are were at that parole board hearing, and one of them in the Air Force seemed like good kids, and they so tough case,
and hopefully they get it right.
Yes.
So Bayou_Brandy, we've been covering this story I'm about to tell you about forever, and it just keeps getting updated. I think one of our very first episodes back in January. Check this out. It's about another kid. So the mother of a 6-year-old who shot his teacher in Virginia pleaded guilty Tuesday to a charge of felony child neglect, 7 months after her son used her handgun to critically wound the educator in a classroom full of students. Prosecutors, and I said this when it came out, I said, oh, somebody's ass going to jail, right? And the 6-year-old shoots the teacher. But prosecutors agreed to drop the misdemeanor charge of reckless storage of a firearm against Deja Taylor as a part of the plea agreement. Prosecutors said they will not seek a sentence that is longer than the state sentencing guidelines, which call for 6 months in jail. Taylor was charged in April with felony child neglect and misdemeanor count of recklessly storing a firearm. We knew that was coming. The January shooting shocked the nation and rolled this shipbuilding city near the Chesapeake Bay. The case against Taylor is one of 3 legal efforts seeking accountability, including the teacher's $40 million lawsuit. That's the other thing I said. Somebody's going to get paid. Because when it happened, some other kids had told the faculty members, hey, this dude's got a gun. 6 years old. Wow. And so supposedly they searched his backpack, but let me read on. Police said the first grader intentionally shot teacher Abby Zwerner as she sat reading table during a lesson. Zwerner, who was hit in the hand and chest, spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital and has endured multiple surgeries. This is crazy. I don't know if you heard this. This came out last week. Moments after the shooting, according to search warrants filed in the case, the child told a reading specialist, this lady who ran in the room, said, I shot that bitch dead and I got my mom's gun last night.
I read it, and that's the first time I had heard that story. Yeah. What 6-year-old says that?
Well, they had kept this under sealed until this past week. What 6-year-old gets a gun and brings it? We're talking about a 6-year-old, dude. You're barely out of diapers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Insane.
So police said the student brought the gun to school in his backpack, which had images of sharks on it. But it remains unclear exactly how he got the gun. Taylor told police she believed the gun was in her purse, secured with a trigger lock. She's lying. And on top of her bedroom dresser, according to the search warrant, she said she kept the gun lock key under her bedroom mattress. She'd be lying, right? I don't lock any of mine, and that's just I teach my kids, your safety is your finger. But the agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives said they never found a trigger lock after conducting searches.
Shocking.
Right. I shot that bitch dead.
That's crazy.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Not 16.
And she eventually pled guilty
I knew somebody's ass was going to jail, but we didn't even know if there was a daddy in the picture or whatever at the time. But let's update y'all on that story. Basically, Mama is taking her leg.
That's right.
So.
I am from Texas, so ironically, hey,
what part?
I was born in Temple, grew up in Plano.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay.
So this story comes to us out of Texas. A slain man found wrapped in plastic was having an affair with his boss's wife. A Texas husband and wife.
That'll put you in plastic real quick.
A Texas husband and wife have been charged with murder after a dead body was found duct taped and wrapped in plastic on their property. On August 15th, a Harris County Sheriff deputy found the body of Francisco Romero, who had been reported missing by his wife on the property that belonged to Narcisco Banos and his wife, Francisca Carzales. Apologies if I mispronounced that. I do not speak Espanol.
Don't worry, Ago always gets everything wrong.
Yeah.
Not speak Spanish. Banos and Carazales were charged after admitting their involvement in the incident to deputies. Banos is charged with murder, aggravated kidnapping, and tampering with a human corpse, and Carazales is facing the same charges. So Banos said he killed Romero, who was his employee, after he discovered that Romero was having an affair with his wife, but the wife helped him.
Oh, yeah.
Romero's wife reported him missing after he texted her saying that he was going to spend the night at Banos' property. Prosecutors say Romero's wife called Banos after Romero didn't answer his phone. Banos revealed the affair to the victim's wife and admitted that he pistol-whipped Romero before leaving the property to run errands. But his claim is that he was alive after he pistol-whipped him. He and his wife went to go run errands, came back, and found him dead.
Right. They came back and found him wrapped up in duct tape?
Yeah.
Yeah. Magic.
Magic.
It's magical.
He was alive when we
He
left.
wrapped himself in that duct tape and that plastic.
That's always a dead giveaway. No pun intended, right?
And what I thought was funny was I went to TikTok to look this case up because, that's where you get the real news.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting that they appeared in court together. They're being arraigned together.
Yeah.
Harris County, that's Houston, right?
So this actually happened, Harris, but this actually happened in Tomball, which is a small town right outside of Houston.
I know exactly where it is.
But what about her?
Yeah.
She was going to catch some kind of charge.
But I mean,
I'm pretty sure it takes more than one person to wrap you up in carpet and duct tape you or plastic and duct tape you successfully.
And also, Banos, yes, this dude was your employee, but that's your wife.
Right, yeah.
That's crazy.
You never know what people be doing.
That's right. He was alive when I was alive.
I
just went to run errands.
I pistol whipped him.
Had to go
But
get gas.
those errands were really important.
Yeah. Very obvious.
Somebody else just happened along and wrapped him up.
Well, we've got another case out of Louisiana in Baton Rouge, which is right by us, where an auto dealer has been found guilty.
You and I have personal knowledge.
Yes, we do. And if I jack up this name, I'm sorry.
Nobody can jack up that dude's name. It's out.
It's already jacked up. Yeah. Tahira Gassami was beaten, drugged, kidnapped, shot several times, and left, and this is a female, by the way, left to die in a shallow grave on the side of a remote highway in April of 2015.
St. Helena Parish.
On Tuesday, a jury convicted her ex-husband, former Baton Rouge auto dealer Hamid Gassami, of pulling the strings in the brutal killing. Worried that she was planning to leave the country with a $1.1 million divorce settlement, he paid her weeks prior. Hamid paid 3 men $10,000 to abduct and kill Tahiri and then dispose of her body. It took a jury 2 hours of deliberations only to find Hamid Gassami guilty of first-degree murder following 4 days of argument and testimony. He faces mandatory life in prison, and he will be sentenced at 9:30 a.m. on September 19th. Hamid Gassami sat behind his lawyers, stone-faced, with no reaction as the verdict was read. The verdict brought to a close the high-profile case that has went through the courts for the past 8 years, y'all.
He's put it
8
off. He's put
years.
it off forever. Yeah.
Yes, and for those that aren't familiar with this case or slightly familiar, he owned a auto dealership in Baton Rouge called Pier 1 Imports.
Yeah, he owned several in Lafayette also.
Yeah, and was a multi-millionaire. So that tells you how money can delay justice, right? 8 years. So essentially, what happened, we almost should answer that.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're getting a live call from Mike Agovino.
Stand by. Mike Agovino?
Woody Overton?
Yeah, so you're live on air.
Your replacement's here.
I'm at the front door to the studio.
No, you know.
You guys locked me.
You
locked me out of the
that.
fucking
Hey,
building.
it's for your own good, and you are suspended for 2 shows, and so accept your punishment. Hey, we're gonna have to take this off air. We're not gonna let you berate me, sir.
I didn't receive anything official from the board.
Hey, well, yes, you did. Yes, you did. So you got it by certified mail.
I'm at the door. Let me in.
Bye.
All right, back to the story. That was Mike Agovino, y'all, trying to get in here. He ain't getting
calling
in.
back.
His replacement has arrived.
I have no part in this.
That's right. They don't know each other for the rest.
Right. The guilty verdict finalized a violent fall from grace for Gassami, a businessman who for years owned the Import One used auto dealership on Airline Highway. Prosecutors successfully convinced jurors that Gassami paid 3 men Daniel Richter, Skylar Williams, and Tyler Aspall a $10,000 bounty to carry out that hit. All three men were originally indicted of first-degree murder for the roles. All had pleaded guilty to reduced charges of manslaughter. Aspall died in state prison while awaiting his sentence in January. Williams and Richter are slated to be sentenced at later dates. So
we
come to a close after 8
finally,
years.
right? And we can't tell y'all how we the personal connection that we have to this, but
Correct.
and the personal knowledge of it has to do with someone that was involved in it. But he hired, because he didn't want to pay her $1 million, and she was getting ready to go back to Iran like the next week, and they hired the three individuals, and they did it. When dug the grave, and then they killed it, and they admitted to it, and but he delayed it for 8 years.
8 years.
So that's like being on a death row, man, half the time.
Well,
I'm glad to
justice
see he's gone.
finally.
And fuck him.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Hey, y'all, changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore. Ensure my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later. Yeah. All right. So let's take you out to North Carolina. You ever been there? Bayou_Brandy?
I have not been to North Carolina.
I've been to Raleigh.
I've been all over
beautiful.
North Carolina. I lived in Plymouth, North Carolina for a little while. All right, so, a North Carolina father is accused of fatally shooting a truck driver on Monday, moments after the driver allegedly ran over the suspect's 17-year-old son, killing the teen. Chad Woods, 41, was arrested on charges of second-degree murder and larceny of a motor vehicle in connection with the death of Jeffrey McKay, age 39. Woods and the 17-year-old son were walking home along Dink Ashley Road in Timberlake after the car became disabled. That's when a North Carolina Department of Public Safety truck driven by McKay reportedly struck the boy, who was later pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say McKay called 911 about 6:30 a.m. to report the crash. Woods then pulled out a gun and fatally shot McKay before tossing the gun nearby and fleeing the scene, right, in McKay's truck. So he shot him and took his truck, basically. Woods reportedly ended up at his Timberlake home where he was arrested, and McKay died at a local hospital. He was just out of it, going off his stuff. Woods' father, Lawrence Claiborne, said he just killed my son. He killed my son. Woods is being held in the Person County Detention Center on a $500,000 bond, and a joint investigation with Pierce County Sheriff's Office and North Carolina basically State Police remains ongoing.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? What is the world coming to?
Well, I don't even know what to think. Your father, your son gets hit and killed.
I kind of interrupt you. Ago is still blowing me. No, don't move. Ago left me a message, and now he's sending a text message, and he said, I left you a voicemail saying, I know Brandy's in the studio and that she has not been sanctioned by the board. We're not responding. You can respond.
I'm on Team Mike.
Oh.
I don't even know him, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm a social worker, and I want to be on his side because I feel like he's isolated right now.
She's trying to help you,
might be
Mike.
a little bit crazy.
She'd be trying to help you, Mike.
Anyway, so the dad shoots the guy that killed his son moments after he ran over him. My question is this to the people that know the law in the room. What do you think about, that's an emotional, unpremeditated thing, because that wasn't that was obviously an emotional thing. And sometimes,
but his problem is he chunked the gun. Right. When you go to hide it.
That's a good point.
Left the scene.
Yeah. And left the scene. And
good point.
That they're
on both those.
Therefore.
But I do wonder if he'll get any kind of leniency.
Yeah, he'll probably get manslaughter, something like that.
Yeah. Not that we're anybody's justifying that, but no. It's like you hear of people walking in, their wife sleeping with a man, and they beat him to death. They beat the guy. Yeah. So this was obviously something where he just totally lost his mind, and from a mother or father standpoint, for that matter, you can kind of get that. Right. But it doesn't really make it okay.
Kind of tells you he has for remorse, or he went in oh shit because he chunked the gun and hauled ass, right?
Yeah.
But
I got a great before we go on to the next story. This took place in North Carolina, and I got a great North Carolina story if y'all want to hear it.
Blow us down.
All right, so I went skiing in Raleigh, North Carolina. One of my best friends lives there, and first time I had ever been skiing. Incidentally, I'm horrible. I suck at skiing, right? I'm like moving the skis like you would skates, and it's horrible. But
is there a video of this?
Yeah. There's a picture, but not a video. And so as we're skiing, I go down the ski lift, and somewhere along the way, I lose my wallet. But I don't realize it. Okay, now I flew there. All my identification, everything's in that wallet. I don't even know I lost my wallet. We get back to his house, and I'm taking off all my ski equipment. I'm like, my wallet's gone. Yeah. Oh, Lord, I lost my wallet because I fell so many times. It apparently fell out somewhere. Right. Get this. This is the most amazing thing ever. On a whim, the next day, we go and we say, has someone turned in a wallet? And they say, no, they haven't. So we go on the ski lift, and this is a freaking mountain, y'all. Right. And I'm like, well, maybe we'll see it. Do you know we freaking found my wallet in the snow from a ski lift? I'm looking down, and by a tree, I see something that looked like a daggum wallet, and it was my wallet.
I hope you bought a lottery ticket that day.
I'm telling you. I couldn't have been luckier because I'm like, I'm never going home.
That's one. All you had.
I might as well start looking for a house. I have no ID.
I have to become a professional skier now.
You have to follow all the trees that you hit on the way down the mountain, right?
There's
how did you find it, and how did you stop appropriately at the right spot?
Well, it was almost at the end of the ski lift where it was. So when I saw it, we only had to go about another 10 feet before we hopped off the ski lift. So I kind of knew because it was the only tree in that area, and it was like right by that tree.
The only tree you hit in the area.
Yeah, the only tree I hit. But it was a shot.
Hey, that's amazing.
What are the chances of that?
That's good shit.
So you're right. I should have bought a lottery ticket.
You should have. Yeah. The universe speaks to you sometimes.
That's
you
right.
Have to listen.
Right. I know it.
So this one's out of Ohio. A teen is convicted of intentionally crashing a car into a brick wall at 100 miles per hour to kill her boyfriend.
I saw this.
Yep. Yeah. An Ohio judge found a teenager guilty of murder, ruling she intentionally drove her car into a brick building at 100 miles an hour to kill her boyfriend and another passenger. On Monday, Judge Nancy Margaret Russo found Mackenzie Sharilla, 19, of Strongsville, guilty on all 12 charges that she faced, including murder, aggravated vehicular homicide, felonious assault, and drug possession for a 2002 crash that killed her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, 20 years old, and their friend, Davion Flanagan, who was 19. What I found interesting, I followed this case a little bit. She was 17 when it happened. And for what it's worth, she did appear remorseful at sentencing. It was 2 years ago. But they say in the early morning hours of July 31st, 2002, she was driving a 2018 Toyota Camry. Russo was in the front seat and Flanagan was in the back seat. The three had been smoking marijuana at a friend's house before she got behind the wheel. She did have THC in her system, and it exceeded the legal limit in Ohio. I'm guessing it's legal in Ohio.
Must be, right?
She was not charged with driving under the influence, but the other 12 felonies stuck. So there is surveillance video of this, and it's quite captivating.
I bet it is.
Yeah, so she was driving normally until all of a sudden she turned the corner and then just started driving like hell on wheels. And what I found interesting was the prosecutor during the trial said they had video of her scouting that route the day before also, and she had never driven that route before. So they believe that she had planned it. Well, she wanted to break up with her boyfriend. That's what came out at trial. Just break up with the dude.
Break up, right? By 17, I mean, God, stupid. I was pretty stupid at 17, but I wasn't that stupid.
Yeah.
And then why? And then the poor passenger. I mean, he was a victim in all of this too.
Yeah. She should at least told that dude he had to walk or something that day.
And then I can't help but feel like she also was trying to commit schmuicide.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, so let's talk about that real quick on TikTok, y'all, because I didn't know this. On TikTok, you can't say suicide, you can't say murder, so you got to say schmuicide. How do you say it?
So artificial intelligence screens the videos, and they don't want you to have dangerous content. So things like murder end up being schmurder.
And rape is graped.
Yep. Death or died is unalive.
Oh, yeah, that's what it gets.
I don't actually know what suicide is supposed to be. I just throw a schmuh in front of it.
Schmuicide.
And hope I don't get a community guideline violation.
That's funny. So your shirt that you have on has a lot of saying smurder, unalive, banana. What is banana?
So you can get banned on TikTok, right? So some people monetize their TikTok. And if you get banned and they just delete your account, then your funds also are gone. So, and obviously it's a lot of work.
Banned is banana.
Bananaed. You say bananaed. Yeah. Like, hey, let's.
I don't want to get bananaed.
Yeah. I don't want to get bananaed.
Jim, I don't want to get bananaed.
Yeah. I don't want to get bananaed.
I think Mike got bananaed.
Mike totally got
Mike got bananaed. He did it to himself,
yeah.
And Mike did get bananaed. Mike, when you listen to this tomorrow morning or Friday morning, you got bananaed.
Yeah, that's right.
Good one. Bananaed. And
crazy.
Your big saying though is real quick on the TikTok and podcast, right? Two different things, and ours usually run at least an hour. And yours the longest, unless you do a live, is like 3 minutes, right? But you do true crime. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that she does true crime and everything in Louisiana. So it's a big difference. I think a lot of people obviously like to hear the shorter version of these things. And I think what we're doing with Real Life Real Crime Daily is we're giving them shorter stories, but without it being the same hour long one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Different.
Yeah, I think it's a different audience. I think we have become this society of like really short attention span and instantaneous connection.
Thank you, TikTok.
Right. Yeah, and TikTok caters to that. So
yeah,
we can 3-minute on TikTok. Some people consider a 3-minute video to be a long video. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm not watching 3 minutes. Right. So you got to talk as fast as you can, get as much information out as you can, and hold their attention. It's kind of like a game.
Cool. Yeah, and TikTok is a good source for podcasting because you can see that 1.5 minute, 2-minute video, and if it intrigues you, then you can go listen to the long form case.
It's kind of like a commercial for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I really love about TikTok is that like all of these things that we're talking about today, I looked them up on TikTok, and the comment section is where you get the real nitty gritty. Because all of a sudden, like, for example, I'm going to make this up, but Mackenzie's best friend is in the comment section all of a sudden saying, that's not really what happened. Come to my page. I'm going to make a video of what really happened. Yeah. You get the real tea.
But sometimes you don't, and therefore you're saying is what?
You have to trust but verify. And come with the receipts, because anybody can put out misinformation. Right. And that can be so dangerous. I think that creators on TikTok have a social responsibility to do their homework and try to not put out misinformation, but unfortunately...
Not everybody thinks like you do.
No. And drama sells. And,
it does. Nothing sells like sex and murder and blood. So
that's right.
I agree. Good deal.
Well, look, we just talked a minute ago about a father shooting the guy that hit and killed his son in a vehicle accident. Listen to this one. An Alabama driver dies after a brutal beating by bar patrons for striking and killing a pedestrian. An Alabama driver has succumbed to his injuries after he was brutally beaten by those bar patrons for fatally running over a woman outside a bar. Kenneth Harrison, who was 45, died at a trauma center on Wednesday, 4 days after the incident. Harrison, who had a previous manslaughter conviction, was driving a 2005 Tahoe when he struck Hannah Martin, 24, as she walked across the highway to the bar. The force of the impact knocked Martin into the tavern's parking lot while Harrison pulled in behind her. Martin was transported to the hospital but later died from her injuries. The site of the grisly incident allegedly sparked an unknown number of bar patrons to set up upon Harrison, who was beaten so badly he was airlifted to a trauma center. His hands were completely bruised where he had fought back, and he had road rash on his shoulders, knees, and chest. Riley said she was moving the couple's SUV out of the way, that was his girlfriend, when the attack started, and she wishes she had been by her partner's side. If I could have stopped those people, at least I could have took half those beatings so he wouldn't be in the condition he was in. The grieving girlfriend also insisted the collision that killed Martin was an accident. We seen 3 heads just by the light that the bar did have, and when we went to swerve around them, there she was. We didn't even see her until we hit her. Here I am having to deal with this guilt that the vehicle I was in killed this child, Riley said in the moment Harrison hit the young woman. So they're driving down the road. These people are apparently leaving a bar. I don't know if this poor girl that was struck and killed was drunk. Yeah. But if that were the case, it'd be real easy to step out in front of a car when you've been drinking, and your judgment is certainly off. Not saying that's what happened, but some bar patrons went out there and just beat the shit out of this guy till he was dead.
Literally, right, with road rash and all that.
Yeah.
You're saying the driver already had a previous manslaughter charge?
He did, and that raises a red flag.
I wonder if there was alcohol involved.
I'm sure, but
good question.
The bar patrons didn't know he had a previous charge.
Yeah,
right. And they just gave him a good old fashioned beat down, skull drug him.
Yeah,
hated.
Had bruises on both his hands where he was fighting
defensive,
back.
Right? Yeah. Tough one.
Horrible.
All right, y'all. So another place I lived. Utah, lived in Salt Lake City for a little while.
You're quite the world traveler.
Right? And then I lived in, you said Plano, Texas.
I lost my wallet in Utah.
I had an apartment in Farmers Branch. What? My baby sister is a judge in Denton, right? So Anyway, a Utah man shot his teen girlfriend in the leg after becoming angry with her because, guess why?
Let's hear it.
She went to a party without him.
How dare she?
Right?
That makes sense.
Bob Mahadi, 18, was charged with discharge of a firearm causing serious injury, a first-degree felony on Tuesday, basically an attempt to murder y'all. Mahadi shot his girlfriend, 17, in the leg after finding out she ignored his feelings and made plans without him. Mahadi allegedly told the girl there would be trouble if she went without him. She went to the party, and Mahadi arrived a short time later and demanded she come and find him. When she did find him, he threatened to hurt her and told her that he was not afraid to punch her in front of everyone. Dude needs
sounds like a real man,
right? And then later that night, Mahadi kneeled down next to the girl as she was sitting in the back seat of a friend's car and shot her in the leg. She stated that Mahadi displayed a pistol, and she asked him if he had taken pictures with the gun. Then her ears started to ring, and she realized she had been shot in the leg by Mahadi. A friend rushed the girl to the hospital where she underwent surgery for a broken femur, and police were called. Naturally, anytime you get to the hospital, a gunshot wound, right? Police were called to the hospital, and the girlfriend identified Mahadi as the person who shot her, and he was arrested. In the follow-up interview, the victim described a history of abuse between her and Mahadi, and she said the relationship was violent and abusive, adding that he is very possessive of her and treats her like his property.
You think?
She also said Mahadi is physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive towards her.
17 is awfully young to already be a domestic violence victim.
To start the cycle. Jesus, you've been shot at 17?
That dude's an idiot, man.
Right?
I mean, like, I will shoot you.
I'm not afraid to punch you in front of everybody. Fuck.
That's a good signal, ladies.
Right? Yeah,
Not the man for you.
Out of the way. And if I was her daddy, he'd be getting that ass beat.
Yeah, Mahadi be.
You don't put up with it, do you?
I wish a motherfucker would.
Domestic violence by you_Brandy doesn't put up with that.
Brandy don't play.
But I will say that it's not always tolerable, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to domestic violence victims.
No.
You don't have to be a strong woman to not.
Oh, I've had women that were abusers of the husband.
Right.
And I mean, I'd show up time after time. I'd tell them, say, look, one of these days I'm going to show up. One of you is going to be dead.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that some domestic violence victims are weak or they allow it to happen. That's absolutely not true.
In my experience, and I know you coming from a different angle, but I always call it the wheel, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they start out,
Cycle
the
of
relationship's
abuse.
great, and it slides around to the argument starts, and it ultimately leads to the violent part, and then it ends to, unfortunately, most times we'd go to arrest them, and then they would flip the script on us. Why are you taking my husband in jail? And they're beat to hell, right? And then they have the makeup period. I'm never going to do it again. And the wheel completes, and the cycle starts over.
Starts out in the honeymoon phase,
Right.
and then you have the violence phase, and then I call it the love bomb phase.
Right.
Yeah.
The makeup.
But I'm glad, I don't know about in Louisiana. I know in Texas, while I was a dispatcher, they changed the law to where the victims could no longer refuse to press charges, and the
changed
state
it here
picks it up.
when I was in detectives back in early 2000s. They actually changed it, and the DA gave us a class on that because we go out there and arrest the same assholes over and over again, and they would never show up for court. So the state started carrying the charge. So, hey, if you're a victim of domestic violence, get out.
And let me tell you, that's one of the best law changes you could ever have, because in a lot of those cases, the victim doesn't want to press charges because they know there's going to be payback. But if you can throw that off on the officer, and the officer say, hey, I see something here, I got to take you in regardless of what she wants to do.
And anyone had any type of remarks, they were coming with me regardless.
Yeah, it takes the onus off of the victim.
Absolutely. And then there's also so much undue influence, like where are they going to live?
Right.
They
Yeah.
usually have
That's my meal ticket, or who's going to take care of the kids.
They usually are controlling the
and,
bank
it's
account. They don't have the means to get away.
Horrible. And hey, I'm telling you, I've seen all aspects of it. I don't wish it upon anyone, but I want to tell you, if you are a victim of domestic violence, there are call your local DA's office or somebody, and there's groups out there that can help you, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Even if you don't advertise, almost every community has a domestic violence shelter. It's not going to look like a traditional shelter for safety purposes, but get online and Google. There are resources.
Yeah, I'm actually speaking at a group Chase Tyler's actually playing at that particular event. It's a nonprofit that has these safety shelters, and
there's one here. I won't say where.
Give me that information. I'd love to go support.
Yeah, absolutely.
I worked at a domestic violence sexual assault shelter right outside of Fort Hood, and when I was in Killeen, and the data shows that in most cases it either takes 7 times for the victim to leave completely or for them to kill them.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shocking stat. Horrible.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Well, Miss Bayou B, what do you have for us?
Speaking of domestic violence, in Pennsylvania,
here we go.
After a man broke up with girlfriend, she drove her son to his workplace and he murdered him.
Wow.
Schmurdered him?
She schmurdered him. He schmurdered.
He
But
schmurdered.
Mom says she didn't know son was going to kill
the
him.
son did it.
The son
Holy
did it.
shit.
Of course not.
Yes.
How old was he?
He was 34.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not like he's a 14-year-old.
Right.
In the
So
moment.
what happened was
Right.
a Pennsylvania woman was sentenced Monday to 20 to 40 years in prison for conspiring to kill her former lover in 2020. So Joyce Brown Rodriguez, 56, pled guilty to third-degree murder and testified that in December of 2020, she drove her adult son, Khalil Brown, to Middletown Township, Pennsylvania, where her ex-boyfriend worked at a recycling facility. When the pair arrived, Brown, 34, got out of the car and didn't even speak, just started firing. Shot him several times, killed him, And then she drove her son back to Philadelphia. They weren't charged with the crime until March of 2022. She pled guilty to third-degree murder and conspiracy in December, and then she testified against her son. Because, remember, even though it took 2 years, she says she didn't know. But what did you think?
Right.
What did you think he was going to do?
You knew. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew.
So the day before the shooting, she called and texted her ex-boyfriend multiple times, a little cray-cray. She showed up to the recycling facility, kind of showed her ass in front of all the coworkers. They had words.
Right.
She reached out to her son. She says she told her son just to go talk to him. Because, just talk to him. He'll want me back. That's it.
right.
That's how it goes.
Tell him how much I love
And
him.
that's why he got out of the car shooting.
And then he just got out of the car and started shooting. But here's the interesting thing. On TikTok, in the comment sections, everybody was talking about how right after the shooting, this dude, the victim that died, Mr. Christopher Wilson, he had 9 kids.
Wow.
And they all knew her because that was Dad's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she was hugging all of them and comforting all of them right after the shooting, saying she was so sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
cold.
Well, hashtag murder by you for her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And gets what she deserved.
And then thought she was going to get away with it for 2
I'm
years.
pretty sure she pumped her son up to go over there and do that, right?
You going to let him treat your mama like that?
9 kids. Holy shit. Well, there you go. That was a good one.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
Oh, there's Tiffany telling us it's time to turn that seatbelt light off and get into a mile-high crime. And look, y'all, we got a crazy one today. A pilot collapsed and died in the bathroom during a commercial flight from Miami to Chile. What? Prompting an emergency landing in Panama on Sunday.
Must have had another
That's right.
pilot.
The pilot collapsed and died in the bathroom of a flight on a
They
Boeing
got that door open to find out
787,
he's
which is a big plane.
Oh, okay. So that is.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
a little bit more room.
Let me say that again. The pilot. So if you're on that plane.
Yeah. They got to have a backup pilot, evidently, right?
Well, Ivan Andonar, 56, was at the helm of the airline flight around 11 p.m. when he unfortunately suffered an apparent cardiac arrest. His 2 co-pilots were forced to make an emergency landing at the Tocom International Airport in Panama City as a nurse and 2 doctors on board rushed to save him. One passenger said a co-pilot asked if there were any doctors on the plane about 40 minutes after takeoff. Yeah, that's
not really
when I'm
something
sitting
you
in
wanna
my
hear.
seat going, what do you need a doctor for?
Yeah. That's not something you want to hear.
Yeah, you don't want when they're asking if there's doctors on the plane. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And so,
did you see
especially
he was in the
pilot.
bathroom?
He went to the bathroom.
So he
and
went to the
poor
bathroom.
guy had a heart attack.
Maybe
Pilots have to go potty too.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying he might have, a lot of people die on the toilet.
Yeah.
Right?
Woody
Heart
would just
attacks.
roll down the window.
Right? Maybe so. Right? But I'm trying to figure out how they got in the bathroom if he died on the toilet, because those doors are small.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Maybe like there after about 30 minutes, like where the fuck's the pilot at?
I know one thing: if I see the pilot go in there and it's
never
been
comes
40
out.
minutes, I'm gonna be like, somebody need to check.
He
out the
wasn't
pilot.
joining the Mile High Club.
Yeah,
Mile
that's
Down
bad.
Club.
Or maybe he was. And
Maybe
that's
he
what
was.
happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe that
maybe
gave him
so.
the heart
Cardiac
attack.
arrest.
Could be. Could be.
You got to count for all the flight attendants.
So they talked to a passenger, and that passenger did say that they asked if any doctors were on the plane. They told us that we were going to land because the pilot felt sick. And when we arrived, they asked us to evacuate the plane because the situation had worsened. In a statement, the airline said all necessary protocols were followed. Unfortunately, after landing and receiving further medical assistance, the pilot passed away. So just a horrible situation in the end. Of course, we're not making fun of the situation,
right.
but
No.
could you imagine the panic?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
That was a good one.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
there you go. That's your Mile High Crime for Thursday.
Yeah.
Bayou B.
Bayou B is your first one.
What am I about to get introduced to here?
It's about to get kinky up in
Crimes
here.
for
Bayou
Friday.
Brandy.
Right? So here we go. All right. Take you to Florida, y'all.
Always Florida.
Yeah,
It's
right.
always
And it's-
Florida.
we
We got
got a
some
lot
kinky
of them
people in Florida.
You're right.
Bayou Brandy.
So, a woman walking around the city is no big deal, right? But this lady was walking around naked. And with only a towel wrapped around her, she was arrested for exposing herself.
Hey.
Giselle Robertson, 36, was arrested Monday and booked into the Lake County Jail on 2 counts of lewd and lascivious exhibition. Officers were called to the Dollar General after 2 men saw a woman naked in the parking lot. I mean, why do you think they call them 911 for that? Robinson walked over to the car.
We were all born naked, people.
Right? Robinson walked over to the car they were in from a nearby Circle K to ask them if they had a lighter. So the naked chick walks up to them and say, hey, you got a lighter?
She had a towel at the time.
When the men asked why she didn't have clothes on, Robinson said she was too lazy to put her clothes on.
Hell, I am too. I get it. Yes.
I feel that.
Right?
Sometimes I'm like, I just don't feel like putting on clothes.
Well, listen to that, but here's Jim Chapman always says you're on video somewhere. Right?
That's right.
But so when one of the men began recording her on his cell phone, Robinson dropped her towel and exposed her naked body.
Hey now.
Police also reviewed surveillance footage from the Circle K, which showed Robinson exposing herself while struggling to keep her towel on before walking toward the Dollar General where the incident happened. When officers arrived at the Dollar General, they found an intoxicated, imagine that, Robinson wearing a towel and carrying an alcoholic beverage, right? So she got her 40.
Yes.
I hope she had the bag right on it and
Old
keeping
English.
it cold. So while speaking to officers, Robinson reportedly told them that walking around with only a towel on was normal for her, and she admitted to being too lazy to put any clothing on. Police went inside the DG to ask if they would donate clothes, which they did. So Robertson was no longer exposed, but her ass was taken to jail.
I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So is the offense here that she was in the towel or that she let the towel drop for a moment?
Because
Because
it has to be
I
like
see
the towel
women
drop.
regularly walking around South Louisiana
Yeah.
during the summer
Yeah,
in
with-
clothes that look less than a towel because it's
Right.
400 degrees here.
Yeah,
Right.
I get that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the exposing of the Jones holes, the
The boobies.
areolas, and
Yeah.
lack of term nipples.
Nipply.
Yeah.
It's a little nipply outside.
So, but I don't know.
Hey, she's too
I
lazy to
wish
put
we had
on
a picture
clothes,
of
man.
that for lookism.
Maybe she is a resident of the nudist park in Slidell,
Right?
Indian Hills,
Right.
and
Hey,
maybe she was on
that place has
vacation.
been there for over 30 years that I know of. I'm not saying that
I went
someone who
live-
isn't me has ever been there. I'm just telling you I know it was there.
I went live with them on
Did you?
TikTok once. They're my
Really?
friend.
Awesome.
So it's off of Airport Road or whatever it is
Yep.
down there on the right. Not that I know.
It's got quite an interesting
you got
story.
Is it on your TikTok?
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
it was
I gotta
one of
go
my
watch that.
first videos that kind of blew up when I started making
Did you have to
TikToks.
get naked to go in there?
Well,
and
they
interview?
invited me. I politely declined. Different strokes for different folks.
Right,
I think it's
hey,
great
but
that
hey,
they live
knock
their
yourself
life. It's just not for me. But it was a professor who ran it. He was a professor in New Orleans. And when he passed away, he gifted it to the woman who runs it now, who I think was like his right-hand woman.
Right.
And I think this is kind of strange, but she runs it with her son and her grandchildren live there.
Okay.
So can you imagine being dropped off on the bus like you're in elementary school?
Right.
You got to get dropped off at the big sign that says Indian
Yeah.
Hills Nudist Park.
Wow.
That is
I bet that was an interesting interview, though. I bet
I
that
gotta
would-
watch it. I'm going to go watch it.
I would love to sit down.
Bayou_Brandy. I'm going to watch that one myself.
Yes.
So did
We'll
they
love
have clothes
learning.
on when
We're
you
gonna link
interviewed
it.
them?
They were. So it's not all, you don't have to be naked in every part. You can wear clothes in some part, but if
Yeah.
you're in the pool area or if you're in the clubhouse, you have to be naked.
Really?
Oh, if I go to Indian Hills, I'm naked as hell.
Now, you wouldn't
I'm
be
like,
naked
I ain't
when-
wearing no clothes.
You get naked when
I
we get
want
out
the
the
whole
car.
naked experience.
Get all of this old
Yes.
53-year-oldness right here, right?
And hey, even if something is not for me, I love learning about it. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's,
that's right.
and I
I'm-
commend
hey,
them
I'm cool
for,
with
with
it.
that being so against the social norms. Like I commend them for, there's other businesses that haven't stayed open for a year during COVID, and they've been open for 30 years.
I know they've been open that long.
Yeah.
Because I knew when they came open.
That's
Tell you why.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Tip.
Bayou Brandy's going to get banjos. Which is
Brandy gets
means
banjo.
it's time for a dumb criminal segment, y'all.
Mike's old segment
Mike,
that he's never getting
he's
back.
not sanctioned.
That's right.
Bayou Brandy is official
to us.
sanction for this episode.
I'm sorry, Mike. I love dumb criminals. I'm sure
yeah.
as an officer,
Yes.
you love dumb criminals
Yes,
because they
indeed.
make your job easy.
We got to do a 911. I was thinking about last night. You got to tell me some of the stories later on. We'll do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But the prisons are full of dummies. It's hard to catch a smart criminal.
Yeah. There's also dumb callers,
Oh, yeah.
but that's for another day.
Yeah. Lay it on us.
All right. So, porch pirate arrested after
Porch
wearing
pirate?
a porch pirate. You know what a
You
porch
know what a
pirate
porch
is?
pirate is?
What?
He steals Amazon.
Steals
packages.
Amazon packages.
There's only a porch.
I
that steals your
knew
shit.
people did that. I didn't know it was
Right.
called porch pirate.
There's like a whole movement now.
I'm thinking like butt pirate or something.
Butt pirate.
This went south.
That's just what Mike says.
He steals your ass.
I get. I saw the video where they put like a bomb with shit in it on the box, and they had like on the video camera, the person came up to open it and it blew shit all over
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
I like that.
So, but that was a porch pirate. That got
Yeah,
the
you
shit
steal
on
my
it.
shit, you're going to get shit blown up in
Yeah,
your face.
porch pirate. All right, I'm down with that.
So, today's era, I actually said I would never get a doorbell camera, and I just got one myself. So,
There you go.
said I would never. I don't like the instantaneous
Okay.
connection.
Never
but
say never.
Never say never. So, I assume that this was caught on Ring camera.
Right.
So, a porch pirate has been arrested after wearing the exact same shirt the very next day to a South Carolina courtroom that he was seen wearing, stealing packages from people's porch, and the video was posted to Facebook. So, there was a Facebook neighborhood group, and someone posted, I assume, their Ring camera to it and said, hey, have you guys seen this person? They've been stealing my packages. The video went viral. He coincidentally had to be in court the next day for something unrelated,
And
he was recognized in court wearing the same shirt,
Oh my God.
and he was arrested. So authorities announced it on Facebook. Remember seeing the post on the left? The police department asked, well, sometimes people actually make our job easy. This guy decided to come to court the day after he stole stuff off of people's porch and was wearing the exact same clothes. We are happy to say he is in custody.
Porch pirate, no more.
That's a good one.
Good one, Brandy.
Look,
Good.
I got a
dog.
great, quick story before we hit the outro on that. I sold
It's outro or-
a camera,
Okay.
it wasn't a Ring camera, but similar, on eBay that I wasn't using anymore. Right. So
You delete.
I sell it.
All your nudie off of
I
it.
did all my Indian Hill stuff. So I sell it on eBay. The guy buys it or gal, and one day I'm at home and I get a notification that said there was movement in my house, and I'm like, "What? I don't even have that camera anymore." So I click it.
No, you didn't have it. You had it.
No.
Yes, it's
God.
So y'all, I
Were they doing
cannot
some
tell you
Indian
how
Hill
tempted
stuff?
I was just to sit there all the time and watch it.
Oh, my
But I
God.
deleted it. I
bet
I
you did.
messaged. I did. I totally did. And I messaged a guy and said,
Change your
"Look,
shit."
Yeah, change your shit."
I would have never thought of that.
Right?
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
I'm like looking, and he's walking around. And some guys walking around the house, and inside they had him inside the house, and I'm like,
You messaged him, say, "Hey, dude, somebody's breaking into your shit."
I did watch for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, I need to.
You better wait
I
about-
feel like a
About
weirdo.
3 days.
Voyeur.
Yeah, it was bad. I was
But if you
totally
weren't-
voyeur
if you
for
weren't a
while.
good person and did the right thing, like
Yeah.
You could be.
Oh my
have some fun with
gosh,
that.
man. Yeah. And now I almost regret it because I'm like, man, that would have been great
You should
entertainment.
at least
I
hung
wonder
out.
what the Joneses are doing tonight.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I did. I did the right thing and deleted it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was the best dumb criminal segment
Ever,
I think we've ever had.
Ago.
Banjos for Brandy.
y'all are
Yes,
setting me up
very
for
good.
failure here with Mike.
Yeah. Well, Mike set himself up for failure.
All right. I think that's all we have for today's
Yep.
episode.
I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, thank you so much
Yes.
for coming in. You rocked. You're a natural. We love you.
Thank you guys for having me.
We, again, on the TikTok thing, y'all, let's do a, Brandy likes to say, a social experiment.
I do love social
I
experiments.
want to see, and we know where your numbers are at now. I want all you lifers out there, when you hear this, take a minute. And I know a lot of people don't like TikTok, right? They're saying it's China or whatever, but evidently
It's China.
It's a real big deal that some of my best friends don't listen to the podcast, right? But they'll watch the hell out of TikToks.
Yeah.
And they send me TikToks.
Well, you want to
and
give
shit.
something
Right,
for
right.
everybody.
Right. But let's do a social experiment. Do you have to download TikTok to follow you? I guess so, right?
You can
you
do
have
it
to
from the
create
web
an account?
browser. You can do it from the website.
All right, so
But it's going to be a matter of time before you download it because it's so damn addicting. So you might as well just download it from the jump.
yeah, so well, there you go. Create an account and go follow. It's BAYOU _ Brandy, BRANDI. Brandy with an I.
And there are a few fake accounts out there.
Yeah.
I have Mardi Gras stuff on in my profile.
Well, you
picture.
can't miss it. I mean, she says true crime nerd in Louisiana.
Transplant, I think, because I'm not from Louisiana.
Right.
I just love
But
y'all's
you love
culture.
Louisiana
I've fallen
shit.
in love with it. The people
Well,
here are
you've been here
of a
long
different cloth.
Especially the Indian Hills people.
So
Maybe
look, y'all, on some of her crime stories, she has millions and millions of views on the stuff she reports, and she does a lot of tips on everything else. But go follow her and send me a screenshot, if you will, to any of our social media, the app, or I know Brandy's not on Facebook, but we got like 7 different Facebook pages. Do that, and then also follow Real Life Real Crime at their TikTok. I'm shooting more videos every day thanks to Brandy. I'm trying to do at least one a day.
Yeah.
Different things from me cooking to whatever. I hadn't really done much true crime stuff yet unless we were in this room. So we need to shoot a TikTok.
I find it so interesting that you have only 17,000 followers on there. What I would be interested to know is, what do your followers and your listeners want to see on your TikTok? Do they want to see more behind the scenes of in the studio, or do they want to see more behind the scenes of y'all in your everyday life? Because there's such a disconnect in your numbers there.
So y'all tell us, what do you want to see on Real Life Real Crime TikTok, right? You want more true crime? You want more cooking videos, beer drinking videos, whatever?
Do you want to see what it looks like when they're recording in the studio, behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Oh, very good point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway, y'all go check it out. Let us know, and we're going to report back. It won't be on the next show. Probably by the time Mike gets off of suspension, we'll be able to give you an update, and I want to try that social experiment.
Okay, so is Mike really suspended? Because I thought it was a joke.
Mike's ass is suspended.
I thought that was a joke in the beginning.
Mike was on double secret probation, and
Double secret.
He's gotten a little bit out of control.
He was getting he just was being hurt. Brandy, if you'd listened, you'd have known he was being very hurtful.
That's right. Very hurtful. Look, we do want to shout out ourrescue.org.
There's one more thing on this, but go ahead.
No, you go.
No, ourrescue.org. She has something to say about this.
Oh, okay. We want to shout out ourrescue.org. If you want to end or get in the fight to end human trafficking, check it out. There's tons of ways you can help. Everything from just attending get-togethers that they post on that website to donating whatever, time, money.
See something, say something.
Yep.
Brandy has not only written a paper, it was published about human trafficking.
Very good.
Right,
Yeah, so
Jill?
as a social worker, human trafficking is really important to me because I think when I say we, I mean people who live by social norms and are typically rule followers and do the right thing. We hear stories about it on the news and we're like, oh my God, this doesn't happen.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
it happens in every city, behind every closed door, around every corner. Trafficking is real, whether it comes in the form of labor, domestic, sexual. There's so many different types of trafficking, and it's so important to bring attention to it. There was recently a girl in the news named Carly Russell who faked her own kidnapping. And while I absolutely hate that she stole that attention, if you will, and I might get some hate for this, but I also like that it brought that conversation to the forefront. Trafficking is real.
Yeah.
They do lure victims with small children. That wasn't far-fetched of an idea. The idea of it being on the side of a busy highway was a little far-fetched, but I am glad that the truth came out on that one. But I do like that it brought trafficking up because it needs to be more of a conversation. Yeah. It is not things that only happen in New York City and Los Angeles. It's happening everywhere that there's a highway.
And they had incidentally, the movie, what's the name of that movie? Was released at the same time that Carl Russell did.
Freedom.
It's all about human trafficking.
Sounds of Freedom.
Sounds of yeah. So, I hadn't seen it yet.
It's an amazing movie to change your life.
Right.
I mean, it'll change your life if you're not familiar with that world.
Well,
The numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
yeah. So what we do, Brandy, like I do on Real Life for Crime for LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, we like to use our platform for good. And so the Daily Show took up
Human trafficking.
human trafficking and
Ourrescue.org.
ourrescue.org.
Are they local?
Well, they're actually the people behind the Sound of Freedom movie.
Okay.
They had like is it Underground
The
Railroad?
guy that movie is based around, that was the former it wasn't CIA, but it was the Border Protection Agency for the United States. He was behind that whole movie, right? So it was a true story on his life. He started that nonprofit.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Anyway, check them out, y'all. And we love and appreciate each and every one of you. Bye, Brandy. Thank you so much for coming in. You rocked it. And
until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Bayou Brandy.
For Real Life Real Crime Daily. Peace.